Welcome to Subject Soup. India just did the unthinkable. They poured billions of tons of unsalted water onto barren land, and what happened next left scientists speechless. Could this be the ultimate solution to drought and climate change? Watch till the end to witness the jaw-dropping transformation. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into an incredible story that's equal parts mind-blowing and inspiring. It's a tale of barren lands, billions of tons of water, and a transformation so rapid it left scientists, environmentalists, and farmers scratching their heads in disbelief. The title says it all: India poured billions of tons of water on barren land. What happened next will shock you. So, grab a snack, settle in, and let's explore how India turned lifeless wastelands into thriving ecosystems in just a matter of weeks. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss this. The big idea: why did India do this? Let's start with the why. India is a land of extremes, lush monsoons in some areas, bone-dry deserts in others. But here's the kicker: over 60% of India's land is used for agriculture, and a massive chunk of that depends on groundwater. Now, here's where it gets serious. India is the world's largest user of groundwater, pumping out more than the United States and China combined. That's a staggering amount of water being sucked out of the earth every single year. But there's a problem: the groundwater isn't recharging fast enough. Years of overextraction, unpredictable monsoons, and climate change have left vast stretches of land arid and barren. Desertification, the process where fertile land turns into desert, is creeping in, threatening millions of livelihoods. So, India decided to fight back. The goal? Recharge groundwater levels, restore those arid lands, and stop desertification in its tracks. This wasn't just about saving the environment, it was about saving people, too. Nearly 600 million Indians face high to extreme water stress, and with climate change making rainfall more erratic, the clock was ticking. The solution? Pour billions of tons of water onto barren land in a massive, ambitious restoration project. But this wasn't just about dumping water and calling it a day. It was a carefully planned effort to mimic nature's own water cycle, using structures like check dams, trenches, and ponds to trap water and let it seep into the ground. The hope was to bring life back to these wastelands, and boy, did it deliver. The shocking transformation. Okay, let's get to the juicy part. What happened next? Picture this: a stretch of cracked, dusty land where nothing grows. No trees, no grass, just a lifeless expanse baking under the sun. Now fast forward a few weeks after India unleashed this water restoration magic. That same land? It's unrecognizable. Suddenly, there's greenery sprouting up everywhere: grasses, shrubs, even small trees pushing through the soil. The ground, once hard as rock, is softening up, soaking in water like a sponge. Scientists were stunned. Farmers couldn't believe their eyes. In just a matter of weeks, these barren wastelands were turning into fertile, thriving ecosystems. Take Rajasthan, for example, a desert state in northwestern India where water is worth its weight in gold. Here, local communities and organizations teamed up to build traditional water harvesting structures called johads, small earthen dams that capture rainwater. In one project near Gotaro, a barren patch of land was targeted for transformation. They planted drought-resistant trees like neem and shirsham, and then poured water into the soil through carefully designed systems. Within weeks, yes, weeks, the area started greening up. Soil that couldn't hold a drop of moisture was now retaining water, and groundwater levels began to rise. Birds and small animals started showing up, too, turning a dead zone into a buzzing ecosystem. It was like nature hit the fast-forward button. And it's not just Rajasthan. Down south in states like Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, similar efforts have been underway. Tank restoration projects, reviving old water bodies that had dried up, poured water back into the landscape. In Kurnool, farmers reported seeing groundwater recharge so fast that wells that had been dry for years started filling up again. The soil came back to life, supporting crops where nothing had grown before. Environmentalists measured the changes. Biodiversity shot up, with insects, birds, and even small mammals returning to areas that had been silent for decades. It was a transformation so rapid and dramatic that it felt like a miracle, but it wasn't. It was science, planning, and a whole lot of water working together. How did this happen so fast? You might be wondering, how does a wasteland turn green in just weeks? Isn't that, like, impossibly fast? Well, here's the secret sauce. When you pour billions of tons of water onto barren land the right way, you're not just wetting the surface, you're kickstarting a whole chain reaction. First, the water seeps into the ground, recharging aquifers that have been starved for years. Those aquifers, hidden underground, are like nature's water banks. Fill them up, and suddenly the soil above gets a steady supply of moisture. That's when the magic happens. Dormant seeds, buried in the dirt for who knows how long, wake up and start sprouting. Add in some human help, like planting native, hardy species, and you've got a recipe for rapid revival. Scientists call this groundwater recharge, and it's a game changer. In India, projects like the Atal Bhujal Yojana, a national groundwater management program, have been pushing this idea hard. They've built thousands of recharge structures across water-stressed regions, from Gujarat to Karnataka. In one study from western India, researchers found that after implementing these systems, groundwater storage flipped from a decline of over 5 cubic kilometers per year to a gain of 2 cubic kilometers per year. That's billions of tons of water staying in the ground, ready to support life. And when the soil gets moist, it doesn't just grow plants, it traps carbon, fights erosion, and cools the local climate. It's like hitting the reset button on an ecosystem. Why this matters, the bigger picture. Now, let's zoom out for a sec. This isn't just a cool story about some green patches in India, it's a potential solution to a massive global problem. India's water crisis is no joke. With over 1.4 billion people, it's the most populous country on Earth, and it's facing a water deficit that could hit 744 billion cubic meters by 2030 if nothing changes. That's less than half of what the country will need. Agriculture, which employs nearly half of India's workforce, guzzles up 80% of that water, mostly from groundwater. When wells run dry, crops fail, and families go hungry. Desertification makes it worse, turning fertile fields into sandy wastelands. But what happened in these projects shows there's hope, a way to fight back against the water crisis and climate change all at once. Think about the ripple effects. Revived soil means better harvests, which means more food security for millions. Increased greenery boosts biodiversity, bringing back species that had vanished from these areas. And healthier ecosystems act like natural shields against climate change, soaking up carbon dioxide and stabilizing the land. In places like Maharashtra, the Gode River Water Fund is taking this idea further, restoring forests and wetlands to regulate the water cycle. They're seeing groundwater levels rise during dry spells, proving that large-scale water management can make communities more resilient. It's not just about survival, it's about thriving. What this means for the future. Here's where it gets really exciting. What if India scaled this up? Imagine replicating these projects across the country's 329 million hectares of land. If barren wastelands everywhere turned into fertile ecosystems, it could revolutionize agriculture. Farmers could grow more with less water, using techniques like drip irrigation alongside recharged groundwater. Climate adaptation would get a huge boost, think fewer droughts, less desertification, and stronger defenses against extreme weather. And water conservation? This could be the blueprint for keeping India's aquifers full, even as the population grows and the planet heats up. Globally, this is a big deal too. India is not the only place facing water stress. Countries across Africa, the Middle East, and beyond are battling desertification and shrinking water supplies. If this model works here, it could work there. The World Bank, which has poured millions into India's groundwater programs, thinks so too. They're calling it the largest groundwater-focused initiative in the world, and the results are starting to speak for themselves. In just a few years, over 2,200 villages in India have drawn up water budgets, plans to balance what they use with what they recharge. Farmers are switching to less thirsty crops like pomegranates and cumin, which still fetch good prices. It's practical, it's scalable, and it's working. But it's not all sunshine and rainbows. There are challenges. Scaling this up takes money, coordination, and community buy-in. Water doesn't respect borders, so aquifers that span states or even countries need cooperation. And while the transformation is fast, keeping it going long-term means changing habits, like cutting back on overpumping groundwater with free electricity. Still, the potential is massive. If India can pull this off on a grand scale, it could set a precedent for the world, showing how to turn climate despair into climate action. Wrapping it up, a shocking success story. So, there you have it, folks. India poured billions of tons of water on barren land, and what happened next was nothing short of shocking. In just weeks, lifeless wastelands turned into lush, green paradises. Soil came back to life, groundwater levels rose, and ecosystems roared back with plants and animals aplenty. Scientists were amazed, farmers were thrilled, and environmentalists saw a glimmer of hope in the fight against desertification and water scarcity. This wasn't just a one-off, it's proof that large-scale water management can reverse the damage of climate change, one recharged aquifer at a time. Why did India do this? To save its land, its water, and its people from a looming crisis. And the results? A rapid transformation that's rewriting what's possible. For the future, this could mean greener farms, stronger communities, and a playbook for the world to follow. So, what do you think? Could this be the key to solving water crises everywhere? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next video. If you've been enjoying the content and finding it helpful or interesting, I'd love to have you join our community by subscribing to the channel. It's completely free and helps the channel grow so I can keep bringing you even more awesome content. No pressure, but your support means the world to me. Thank you for watching, I appreciate you.